flat earthers will not exist in moon colonies. Don't underestimate humanity's capacity for denial. What about flat mooners? Maybe. But the moment moon colonies exist will be the birth of Earth deniers that will think everything about Earth's history is all a hoax. I think you underestimate how incredible fucking stupid flat earthers are. They will just tell you the Earth is a giant spinning dinner plate put there by NASA. Hold humanity's beer. You underestimate how stupid a human can be. Man, it makes more sense for people to think the moon is a flat disk since it's tidally locked. But if you were on the moon you'd see that the Earth is spinning, right? Like you're not going to always see the same side, so that would quash flat Earth, I would think. Buddy, do I have some news about what denial is? You underestimate how stupid flat earthers are. As they say, nothing is foolproof to a sufficiently talented fool. Girls, what isn't nearly as attractive as a lot of guys think it is? How are you? I'm good, kinda horny lol. Okay bye. Talking about how you and your buddies could totally take on those other guys at the bar, who are usually minding their own fucking business. There's a certain type of guy who gets a few drinks in and thinks it's really impressive to show off what a violent asshole they are. Calling yourself an alpha male, rubbing the clit like you're a DJ, unsolicited dick pics, bragging about your money. Even as an 18-year-old, I always found it off-putting. You have money? Great. You don't have to remind me every 5 minutes. Driving like you're in Fast and Furious. It's far hotter to just drive well, safely and not like a bellend. Thank you ladies, I'm going to keep being a sensitive man with an average penis, but with confidence now. I think my best friend is having an affair with my wife. That's what makes him your best friend, jumping on that grenade. They both smell like peanut butter. My best friend ran away with my wife. I miss him. A true wingman. And a ginger hair stuck in his teeth. Good one. Norm. Smiley face, smiley face, smiley face. Smiley face. Sounds more like he married your ex. Finally a joke that made me chuckle, thanks. Have your upvote. Haha wife bad boomer funny. Ha ha ha. Smiley face. Smiley face. Gwa. I just expelled air through my nose in appreciation of your joke. Stealing this. I went into a pet store to buy my parrot a new stand. They wanted $500 for it. I told them that was ridiculous. Did you spend time thinking that one up, or did you just wing it? I felt good about buying it, though it was a weight off my shoulders. My parrot prefers one side on the perch, and even went so far as to scratch a mark with his claw to show how far he'd moved to the other. Really drew a line in the stand. $500, that's appalling. I can't understand and get over the high stand price. Only Brits will get where 3 sets of parrots and the parrots on the bottom perch were for ones on the middle perch were also for the ones that were on higher perches could only be leased, with a purchase option at the end of the lease. Take it out of his cracker budget. He's not getting any for a while. I can't stand it. Oh my, what do you call a parrot that won't? I went into the office early one morning and switched the M and N keys on everyone's keyboard. Some people will say I'm a monster. You are requested at an HR niche MGO 8:30 sharp on Gnome Day. I heard mu HR lady is a mindfo. AMD with that 8 hours of spreadsheets roomed. Nom nom nom. If someone knows how to type, they don't look at the keys. They wouldn't even notice. If you woke up and became your username, what would you be? I don't want to say it. A still single dude who doesn't own a jetpack. Worthless. I would repair things aggressively. I would be a dragon that would always greet people with evening, regardless of the time of day. Definitely not Sharon. Ah man. I would be myself. I'd be shocked. Pax is Latin for, I'd be a peaceful Viking. Radioactive. In heaven. Constantly annoyed by an adoring fan. I'd be a can of Red Bull headbanging to some heavy metal music. I am what I am. I would finally have my dream occupation. A brother. A father. A hero. I would be a reliable oaf, I suppose. Pretty fucking cool, I guess. FFS no. I would be a Bosnian ball. Winner me and all of you. Undead poultry. A sensitive radio. I'd be an Australian lyrebird. Not bad compared to you sentient Kumsak. Regret going for a Star Trek theme here. Russian satellite. My husband came up with this one while we were out shopping. That was right on target. That's what happens when you don't express enough goodwill towards those in need. Diamond in the rough. As my young cousin put it one Christmas, the box says clothes. Kohl's? That's definitely the best buy. Wait hold up. Kohl's has Legos now, so I think they have some redeeming products. Lump that in the chute for Kohl's. Lol, 2 years ago I got my entire family Kohl's gift cards for Christmas and only one person got the joke. Hilarious. Pornographic sites are still trying to be profitable and have staff who attend boring business meetings about profitability and engagement. Pornhub also used to have paid employees whose job it was to drive engagement on Reddit social media. Pour one out for Katie. They also have IT staff that are responsible for designing and programming the web UI. making it user-friendly and bug-free, all very unsexy stuff. I never think of them as actual companies, but the hub probably has an HR department. Trying to might not be aware, but sex sells. You see here, the red line represents titties, and the blue line represents ass, and we can see that as interest in the former goes up, interest in the latter goes down, which means, excuse me, looking at both of those growth numbers in a vacuum is inaccurate. If we add in a third variable, incest porn, into the mix, we'll see that the former two figures are not correlated at all. Realistically speaking, if you went to sleep and didn't wake up, you wouldn't be sad about it. My father recently had major surgery. When I asked if he was nervous, he responded, "If it goes wrong, I will never know." An Irish blessing, here's to a long life and a merry one. A quick death and an easy one. A pretty girl and an honest one. A cold pint and another one. My other favorite is, may you be in heaven for 40 years before the devil knows you are dead. My grandfather died peacefully, and it's the people on his bus. I don't know if you've ever had sleep paralysis. Deaths can be quiet but not peaceful. Minutes or hours of terror and suffering occur in silence. Then the forgetting might occur. If the soul exists, we can only hope it takes the suffering in stride. Sleep paralysis squad, unite. Would I even know that happened? If I wake up dead, I'd be pretty pissed. Till 59 of 18-25-year-olds in the United States are overweight or obese. This is like in Australia when they have to change what is considered a heavy drinker to a much higher number so that 50 of the population doesn't apply. Military recruiters have known this for years. Smiley face. I just went to doctors yesterday and my BMI is now normal. Call me. I'm attempting to correct this. Down about 45 pounds this year so far. 35 more to go. The last time I wasn't overweight obese was when I was 19 lol. It's been a few years since. Was BMI 34.4 last December. 11 months later, and goal is at below 25 by summer 2024. 10 more pounds. Till about 3 identical strangers, a pair of triplets who were secretly separated at birth and sent to different families to study child development. I think I saw the documentary for this. Didn't one of them commit suicide as an adult? 2 of my favorite tidbits. Point 1. Before they met, 2 of the boys went to the same college and lived in the same dorm. They only realized something was up when one of them couldn't figure out why everyone kept calling him by a different name and acting like they knew him. 2. The documentary about them is directed by Tim Wardle, whose brother invented Wordle. Students, why do they make us study medical? Set of triplets. A pair of triplets? So fucked up. Truly heartbreaking. I'm an identical twin. She is my other half. We are meant to be together. Documentary about them was quite good. What was the conclusion though? Was nature more powerful than nurture, or the other way around? Till in 2013, Jeff Bush was asleep in his bedroom when a huge sinkhole opened up and swallowed him and his entire bedroom. Even though his brother heard his screams, he couldn't see or rescue him in time. They never found Bush's body. Million ways to die, but this guy died in one of the most unexpected, horrifying ways you can imagine. 1 minute you're dreaming, the next you are screaming and clawing for nothing as the earth swallows you and drags you down into its black depths. That sinkhole keeps opening up too. After they filled it the first time, it was determined that it would be best to just allow it to exist as a known hazard instead of trying to put enough fill into it to actually stop it and possibly creating a new unknown sinkhole to appear elsewhere. There's just a fence around it. Till in 2020, 68 of new marriages in India were arranged, whereas in 2023 44 were. It's surprising that Indian engagements are on average so short, considering that Indian weddings have such a lavish reputation. Isn't it a lot of work to plan such an event? We had an 8-month engagement in the US and it caused logistical problems, venue and dress availability, for instance. Does family do the heavy lifting with planning in India, typically? I don't even trust my parents to buy me clothes. Why would I ever trust them to find me a life partner? I wonder how much the 2020 number was influenced by COVID reducing opportunities to mingle. I know more than a few folks who are in arranged marriages, and decades later they still seem pretty happy. I guess it's not for everyone, certainly isn't for me. But if it works for you, then more power to you. Till of the 6 degrees of separation theory, the idea that all humans are connected with 6 connections or less. I was trying to find my biological father. Never knew the guy. Did Ancestry DNA and found a paternal cousin who led me to the dude. Turns out my father and I worked for the same company, at the same time, for about 3-4 years. Pretty sure we rode the elevator together a few times. Still never talked to the dude. But I just thought it was crazy that we were right next to each other for fucking years. The world is huge, and also not very big at all. I have a coworker whose grandparent was involved in a far-right group in the 1960s, so had met the founder who worked with Oswald Mosley in the 1930s. I am thus at most 5 degrees of separation from every person Mosley ever met. including Hitler, Mussolini, and whichever hero that nailed him with a brick. Till that Americans actually started using the dating system MDDIA from the UK, who used it before the 20th century. Almost every convention from the USA came from the UK. USA was the UK's colony after all. I learned IT from you. To be fair, most things Americans use were brought here from England. Yet another thing the British bash us for using, even though they used it first, because USA lost access to the English language update to v2.0. They left us all their old stuff, like measurements, when they renovated. Brits in here defending their actions and criticizing Americans, yet they know their weight in stones. It should be. The fact that brands can legally, blatantly lie about their products is unsettling. I think this depends where you are. My country's rules on advertising are really tight. It could be worse. Lying could be made legal for law enforcement officers, politicians, even the weight. They can't, up to a point. FTC regulations on truth in advertising can apply, as well as more stringent requirements for food, healthcare products, etc. With new lie be gone, you can see through those pesky prevarications. We take Zello, PayPal, Venmo, and crypto. Wait till you hear what politicians do to get elected. Example? In the US, false advertising is illegal. Truth in advertising laws do, in my country at least. Pepsi, where's my jet? Every single mobile game ad is a blight on the gaming industry. Spotify is quite notorious for lying, that's for sure. What did your husband get you? That's nice. That's real nice. Classic Mrs. Brown's Boy sketch. X200B, bless your heart dear. Love this. I'm going to tell my partner right now, see what she says. And she giggled. Hey, I like that. Well, thank you. My wife and I have added this phrase to our diction, and just in time for the holidays with a couple of braggart relatives. We can look him and her directly in the eye, smile, and say that's very nice. I always heard it as well, how nice. Must be the Appalachian version. Let's see Paul Allen's wife. I heard this about Jewish ladies, how charming. That's a good un. Screenshotted and sent to my wife. What is the most fucked up book you've ever read? A child called it Algebra 1, Wasp Factory, The Rape of Nanking by Iris Chang. Note: please don't read it if you are faint-hearted. Blood Meridian, The Road. Disturbing, but more than anything else profoundly depressing, and as a dad it fucked me up. One of the Malazan books features an army of cannibals who routinely rape dead dying men because they believe the children born of the dead man's semen will have magical powers. I felt that was pretty fucked up. American Psycho was also pretty fucked up. American Psycho, Naked Lunch. Not really that fucked up, but Animal Farm. It's so dark and brutal. Also, people will say it's anti-communist. However, I believe it's more anti-Soviet than anti-communist. The 120 Days is mentioned plenty times in other threads, but it doesn't change the fact that holy moly, it is fucked up. What's the stupidest thing you've ever heard anyone say? Where are you from, China or Asia? Stoned friend, what year is February in? My teacher told a class of 16-17-year-olds about that super loyal dog in Japan who walked to the train station daily for 9 years to wait for his owner, who died at hearing that story. A girl raised her hand and asked, why didn't somebody just tell the dog? Just about an hour ago, my 18 almost 19-year-old daughter says this: I just learned that if you pay for gas with cash and you give them too much, you can get your money back. I told her I feel like I failed as a father. I can jump that far. Me. I knew a finance major in college who thought he was worth $20,000 because he had 2 credit cards with $10,000 limit each. Did you know that in the Cold War there was so cold that the frozen bullets stuck in the guns? What's the weirdest and or grossest sexual request you've gotten from a partner, and did you fulfill it? If so, what convinced you to do so? First time getting with a girl, she told me she wanted to use a knife during sex. Like, having me trace it over her skin, sort of sensual but dangerous type deal. Sure, why not, I'll try anything. She didn't tell me it was a skinning knife for hunting, and it was sharp as fuck, and I accidentally cut her, not badly, but enough to draw blood. A guy once, without any communication or discussion, saved saliva up in his mouth. I thought it was odd he was being so quiet. He proceeded to kiss me and try to pass his mouth full of saliva into my mouth. I just remember the warmth and then gagging uncontrollably as saliva went everywhere. Definitely not my thing. I just came in to remind everyone that the best safe word is meek. We'd do anything for love, but we won't do that. When I was a child, a police officer came to our school and gave a speech on drugs. I watched a really interesting documentary on LSD last night. I think I'll watch all documentaries this way from now on. I also remember a police officer giving a speech on talked about what they're called, and what they helped me make more informed buyer decisions. When I was in high school, someone decided we needed drug education. They had a spray that smelled like pot, various pamphlets, and they even had 3 honest-to-gosh marijuana cigarettes so we'd know what they looked like. They even passed them around. They passed out all 3, and later collected all 4. At some point after they collected them, someone noticed the discrepancy. They ended the class and it was never mentioned again. He gave a 20-minute speech in 5 minutes. And then, one day, a piano fell on his head. Consequences. Where location are the world's horniest men? Op looking at Google Flights as he reads through these comments. Reddit. Any Army 2-week all-boys boot camp where the men are stuck with only the company of men. Alternatively, a submarine. Hornytown, North Carolina. India. Of Northern Africa and Emirates don't give a fuck about it. But then again they get Instagram models and reality TV girls landing at their laps with each flight for their infamous Dubai porta parties. Their market is saturated with Russian girls these days. India. The least fucked and most virginal men on earth somehow despite their population, based on the questions they ask online. My room. Me, I'm the world horniest man. Horny bar Slovakia.